back here with another stream. Hopefully, all of you are having a wonderful day. I did try and stream last Friday. Had connection issues. I don't know what's up with my internet. I'm gonna have to start streaming a bit earlier because I was under the assumption that I could stream up until roughly 10:15, and then my connection goes out, but it went out like 9:55. So I think new objective is to get streaming 9:30 and call it quits by 9:45, 9:50. But taking a look at the crypto market cap sitting at $819 billion, Bitcoin down is 38%, ETH down is 17.4%, Bitcoin holding 16,165, ETH 1160, Binance Coin 292, Dogecoin 9.33 cents, Cardano 30.4 cents, Matic 81.7 cents, Polkadot 513, Chainlink 674, Cosmos 966. We can see that the market has come down a little bit since last Friday. Taking a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we're down roughly a 0.5%, or roughly 884.84 points. Looking at the 1 hour chart for Bitcoin, things aren't looking too good. It looks to be that the bears have taken control of the market here, at least in the short term. We did have a wick down to roughly 16,050, and we look to be holding this line of support right around 16,150. We'll see if it holds. Not looking too great, if you ask me. Looking at the 1 minute chart, we do have a descending triangle here, actually, which is not the best of signs for Bitcoin. I mean, if you want me to draw it out for you guys, I'll do it right now. I'll do this live, show you that it's legit. So you take that guy, maybe bring this out just a little bit to up there roughly. Maybe you can bring it out just a little bit there, and then roughly the other part is right there. So you need to hold that. If we don't, definitely expect some downside movement out of Bitcoin. Taking a look at the daily chart, again, things aren't looking too hot, you guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the reality is we are going down. We've had this is the fifth day of red candles on the Bitcoin daily chart. Not a good sign. Could this be the day that we go green? Maybe we have some sort of fake out that brings us up back up here, and then maybe we come down from there. Personally, I think we're going to dump here in the next day or two. Things are not looking too good in the stock market. We have sorry, not inflation, employment numbers coming out, I believe, on Friday, so that should it should move the market somewhat. Again, Bitcoin staying underneath. I believe this is the what is this? The 200-day SMA, I believe. Let me see. What do we have on here? It doesn't tell me which one we're using. Anyways, DXY dollar is trending upwards, at least currently. If basically simple scenario, if this trends higher, stocks and crypto get decimated. If this trends lower, we see the opposite in stocks and crypto. We see them go up. We are early, you guys, in the 2020 halving. The block reward for Bitcoin came 6.25. The next halving will bring this number down to 3.125. I guess a good way to look at it is, as time goes on, there's going to be less and less Bitcoin being mined. So might as well get in early while you can. Not financial advice. Not telling you to dollar cost average right now, but personally, I'm looking to scoop some Bitcoin at these levels. Very very small amounts, but as we get closer and closer to 10,000, I will start dollar cost averaging a bit heavier. Huge Bitcoin poster spotted at Zurich Airport, the best performing asset of the last decade. What is it? Well, it's Bitcoin. Huge endorsement from the Zurich Airport. Good on them. They know what's up. 952,754 Bitcoin. Addresses hold +1 Bitcoin, a new all-time highs, according to Glassnode. People are doubling down on their conviction on Bitcoin as an asset. Dylan LeClaire says, ask yourself how Nexo is paying 10% on stablecoins while DeFi yields are 1% and short duration US treasuries are 4.5%. Meanwhile, every counterparty in the crypto space has blown up. Yeah, I would take your money out of Nexo. This looks like the next Ponzi to fall, or at least one of them. Binance Cold Wallet transferred all 127,351 Bitcoin, or $2.06 billion worth, to new address just now. As of now, no clarification has been given. This guy claims that CZ supposedly put this out. This is part of the proof of reserve audit. The audit requires us to send a specific amount through ourselves to show we control the wallet, and the rest goes to a change address, which is the new address in this case. Input transaction is big, and so is the change. Ignore the FUD. I still am a bit concerned about CZ and Binance. How I doubt they're completely solvent with all the loans and leverage they're playing with, but that's just me. If you own 0.26 Bitcoin, just over a quarter of a Bitcoin, you are in the top 1%. Hodlers. Texas Governor Abbott saying Bitcoin is the cutting edge of innovation in the world. Eight congressmen tried to stop the SEC's inquiry into FTX back in March. 5 out of the 8 received donations from Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. Their names and signatures. These are the 8 Congress people that tried to stop the SEC's inquiry into FTX. Remember these names. They may be people we want to look into moving forward / pay attention to. El Salvador says Bitcoin has brought economic freedom and more tourists to El Salvador. This is according to the ambassador of the U.S. China offered to supposedly buy El Salvador's debt earlier this month. I was unaware of that. Again, we'll need to look. We'll need to look this up. I doubt Nayib Bukele will go through this. He did say they're going to be buying a Bitcoin each single day, in which Michael Saylor responded, a Bitcoin a day keeps the doctor away. They are rising up, even in China. They're rising up. Take notice. World biosecurity tyranny will not prevail.
Violence erupted at the world's largest iPhone factory in China as more than 6 million people were placed on new COVID lockdowns. Crowds of workers who have been under grueling COVID restrictions clashed with authorities in hazmat suits. Some demonstrators say the protest began over a bonus pay dispute for the employees who have had to live and work in isolation through COVID outbreaks.
So huge uprisings over in China over their zero COVID policy and things of that nature. They're fed up. We have Apple to lose possibly $6.9 billion on iPhones due to protests at China plant. Because of the protests and stuff, Apple is not able to make the iPhone 14 or iPhone 14 Pro to meet the market's demands for this holiday season. That's a huge loss, and I don't know, guys. Apple is associated with S&P 500. You can see a correlation between the two. I'm not going to go into this because we could talk about this all day, but there is a correlation between Apple stock and the S&P 500. So be wary if Apple's earnings comes out short, for quarter 4, which they probably are going to with this going down with the protests and everything. I think you can see a drop in Apple stock and other related stocks, maybe even the wider stock market. Beijing back in lockdown. CGTN, a Chinese state run news channel, has just announced Beijing and other cities are going back into lockdown. Schools, restaurants, gyms, and other facilities closed this week to stop the Omicron variant. This reopening didn't last very long. Protests against strict lockdown hit Shanghai, other China cities. Let's take a look into this. Here we have protests against China's zero COVID lockdown in Guangzhou. Here's another clip. Sorry, that was really loud. Load that in. Here we have it. Wuhan, the anti-lockdown protesters are tearing down barricades, shouting, "It started in Wuhan, it ends in Wuhan." It's pretty wild. People are fed up, and I thought I'd bring this up because the protesters are apparently saying it started in Wuhan, it ends in Wuhan, while UK experts, including Sir Patrick Vallance, helped shut down COVID lab leak theory weeks after being told it might be true. Investigating a lab leak could harm Chinese research. Yeah, because that's all you care about. You don't care about people being locked up over not taking a medical procedure. You don't care about people not being able to see their loved ones before they die in a nursing home. You just care about the Chinese research. You just care about that dough, that money. Disgusting sack of shit. Pardon me. Police arrived at peaceful COVID protest in Beijing on Liangma River. Candles being lit, earlier chants in honor of dead in recent fire in Urumqi, and saying Shanghai police let them go. Reference to the arrests made today. Crowd of at least 100 making its way to Tiananmen Square in Beijing on Sunday night, chanting, "We want universal values. We want freedom, equality, democracy, rule of law. We don't want dictatorship. We don't want personality cult." Protesters in Shanghai shouting, "Step down CCP, step down Xi Jinping." Apparently, there's a lot of anger over the fire in Urumqi. Shanghai people were chanting and singing, slogans being chanted, including, "We want freedom, not virus check. We want democracy, not dictatorship. Put down CCP." It's unbelievable. 33 years after Tiananmen Square movement, such slogans could be shouted clearly on China streets. Pretty crazy developments. China's getting crazy. As you can see, this lady slash or man, pardon me, I can't really tell, stops in front of the ambulance or police vehicle, and the crowd gets excited, and then the pigs that they are, they got to throw the person on the ground and make an example out of that person. It's pretty disgusting. Things are getting crazy in China. Here we have what looks to be pigs basically spraying dissidents or the opposition with pepper spray or some other form of um, spray. Here's some more COVID protests occurring over in China. Guy basically telling the crowd to be more courageous. They have nothing to fear. The police can't arrest all of them. Then the police don't like what he's saying, so they have to make, again, example out of him. And what do? Well, they arrest him. See, he's making valid points to his citizens, and they don't like that he's, making sense. They don't like what he's saying, so again, they have to make an example out of him. Disgusting behavior. Two courageous Chinese girls are lecturing Literally, police officers, one of them said to a young police, "How much do you make a year?" 20,000 monthly, then 240,000 RMBs a year. For such little, you sold your soul. That's how much you sold yourself. Isn't this funny? You guys are 20 or 30. Is it worthy? Sealing doors in lockdown. I'm confused if they are dealing with COVID or zombies. I remember some of this footage was being leaked back in January/February of 2020. Not sure if this is the same footage from back then, but pretty crazy stuff that they were literally welding doors shut, welding people's doors shut so they couldn't leave their homes. Protests in China are not rare. What is rare are multiple protests over the same issue at the same time across the country. Protests below, apparently in central Beijing's Liangmikyao